Well, guys, it's official. The two hosts of the best podcast in the world have now been on Pajama Pants. It's Tom Segura, everybody.
Woo!
All right. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for coming on, man.
All right. So,
Dude, Gabby is so hard to please.
Watch out for that one.
yeah, I could see her from here. All right, Gabby. So, no, thank you for having me. Christina this morning was like, "You going on Pajama Pants?" And I go, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh, that's like my favorite podcast to listen to now."
Oh.
And I go, "Okay." And she's like, "Will you tell them?" And I go, "Yeah, sure." And she's like, I use it like to, like I drive home and I listen to it. I go, "You don't have to tell me like how you listen. I get it. Like you listen to it." And she's like, "It's the best." So she's a huge fan.
We love her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
She's the best.
There's I want to start off by siding with you on something, which is like you guys have this argument about if you have a house and somebody wants it cold and the other person wants it hot, what do you do? And I think it's so obvious that you're right, and this should stand for everyone everywhere, which is if people are cold, they can put on sweatshirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand how anyone who is cold thinks they can win that argument. I'm sorry, Christina. As you just said, you're a big fan of this podcast. I'm sorry. But
So wait,
it's
give me
bullshit.
backstory. So you like the
It's
temperature.
like most relationships. The guy's always hot.
Right.
The girl's cold.
Right.
Right. But I mean, she's insane. Where, like, if you go to a hotel, you have a smaller room, obviously, and a thermostat. I mean, if you like leave and come back, it'll be like 82 in the room. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And then, yeah, she's
Maybe it's
just
because she likes like little bits of clothing. Is that why?
nope,
Oh.
nope. That'd be cool.
Not why.
That's not
That'd be
why.
cool.
No, she's just like, bundled up, blankets, sweaters. It's just like I'm like it's 83 today. What are you doing? Like she's still cold in that weather.
Right.
And now she's got this thing that because our kids are young, so at night I like a cool room to sleep in. Feels the best, right?
Yeah, 70
So
is the max.
she'll be like, "It's freezing right now," and I'm like, "No, it's not." And then I'll look at the thermostat or whatever. I'm like, "It's 72," and she's like, "We have children," and I'm like, "I know." And she's like, they're probably shivering right now.
Right.
I'm like, they have blankets. What are you talking about? It's not that cold.
My husband and I had a similar. So we have, I guess, through Nest, you can like adjust the temperature in each room.
Oh, wow.
And he was making the temperature low in our boys' rooms,
Uh-huh.
and we got in a massive argument until he did like all this research and screenshot and sending me that kids sleep better in the cold. So
Can I get the research?
I love Christina,
Yeah.
but I apparently this is backed up
Send that shit today.
scientifically.
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, I mean, like, and now I have the thermostat thing where you have it. I'll show her like, look, if it gets this cold, the heat will kick on.
Yes,
And,
exactly.
but like, if it gets warm, the fucking AC is coming on, and it doesn't go well. No, she gets pissed.
You'd think that would take it off the table.
I love sleeping in a cool room.
I do too,
It's the
only
best.
because I like lots of layers.
You know
like
what-
I like
yeah.
going to sleep in a hoodie with it over my head.
If the room is freezing, that's the best. Like, do you remember? I don't know if you ever slept in the room that had the old school like window units, because those are like
yeah.
Arctic
oh,
blast.
in New York City, in our apartments.
Oh my
yeah.
god! So like you crank those, and it'll be like 45 degrees in your room. But then I'll throw on blankets and shit, and I'll sleep like a bear. Like I will sleep a full day.
Yeah.
It's the best.
During the day, I don't really care about the temperature. At night, I need it freezing. And I had a window unit growing up, and it wasn't installed properly. So when it was like 8 degrees in New York, it would be freezing in my room because there were holes like to install it. And I remember I had a friend staying over one time, and he was like, "You could see smoke when you breathe in your room." And my mom had to buy one of those things. So I took it to another level. But my mom had to buy one of those things to put under the door because the draft coming
Oh
from
my God.
under my
She's
door.
like, don't let the rest of the house get cold from Rob's room.
Yeah.
Have you ever? You just prompted a memory of like I hooked up with this chick one time in DC, and she was from one of the Midwestern like cold states, and it was like we hooked up, and then I was like, "You gonna close the window?" And she goes, "What are you, a chick?" And I go, "What?" And she's like, "Feels good." And I was like, "Okay." And then we slept, and she was like on top of the shit, and I was like bundled up. I was like, I'm cold.
It's how you're raised.
Yeah.
It's what you're used to.
Yeah.
It's
She's
what
a
you're used to.
outdoor hoe, So
That's
it's
right.
like, that's what she's used to.
She was a mountain hoe.
So
Yeah.
I got you a gift.
What?
For coming on the pod. Yeah.
Oh.
I was.
That's from all of us.
Wow. Can I put it now?
I even please. I even folded the tape because I know you have.
It's from all of you. I
Yeah,
get
me
it.
and Jamie thought we thought you'd like this.
I just I think if you had this gift before physical therapy, you would have never needed physical therapy.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I know you're really into like positive.
Positive thoughts.
Affirmations?
Yes.
Oh, good.
You got
Yeah.
this. Thank you.
And I think you can just call your physical therapist and say you're done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you
Perfect.
still in a lot of physical therapy right now?
I do PT 3 times a week, and then OT I've been doing twice a week, and then I do some type of workout 5 days a week. Yeah.
Good for you.
You look
Yeah.
like
Do you
you're in
feel
great
like you're
shape.
in better
Oh,
shape
thanks.
since the accident?
I've lost 25 pounds since the accident. So
Wow.
that's cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'll try to drop a little more, But
Yeah.
yeah, it's it fucks you up. Getting like a
Yeah.
traumatic injury
I
definitely
couldn't
makes
watch
you go.
the video. They tried.
I watched it
They
so
tried.
many times.
Well,
Everyone's
Jamie, you're about to.
They just
Oh.
Bryce?
Did you see the new one? Did you see the new one that came out today?
No.
Crime Faces did a pass on it today.
It's a
Really?
new
You
You know
remix
that guy
on the accident.
Yeah. Where he just like talks shit the whole time.
That's
It's very
amazing.
funny. It's very funny.
We got it for you, Jamie. Mainly, I just want to see.
Okay, I'm
obviously,
gonna try.
people
I'm
need
gonna
to see
try
this.
not to look away.
But Jamie's like, I could only watch this once because I'm such
Here's
a
the
good
thing.
person.
I've seen it so much. I'm just gonna watch Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I've
Shit.
only seen it once because I'm such a good person. I think the truth is, Jamie's seen it hundreds of times and just laughs.
I swear to God, I
There's
am not.
multiple angles, and then pay attention to the sounds.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Good thing you have
God damn
headphones
it.
on.
Yeah.
This is really. I'm gonna try.
So I remember being hyped up, and I was like, I'm just gonna jump and see what happens.
So good. So
Wait, Jamie, right here. Here's the other angle, Jamie.
his arm.
Can you call
Can you call 911?
Never
Yeah.
seen anyone go for a dunk and that happened.
What's
That
up, Roy?
Really kind of freaked me out.
He was there.
Look at Roy playing basketball. His little polo bear sweater. I
Yeah.
love it.
Roy is such a good dude. So Roy's the guy who he basically it's not his facility, but he coaches there.
Yeah.
So it's a standalone gym that actually a lot of pros work out at, and like he he'll coach people one on one, and like in groups. So we had reserved this place to play against Tristan Jass, who's this really talented like YouTube basketball star, and then we were gonna have a dunk contest. Bert and I, and Tristan jumped in, but Bert and I, the idea was lower it and then see if who can raise the rim and keep dunking, right? So he was like, dude, he was so freaked out when this
Was
guy.
that him that said call 911?
No, that's me.
Oh, that was you
Yeah,
saying
because
that?
I'm saying that because I'm like, hey, someone get on this. you
So
know?
it was when you hit the rim.
No. So what happened
He
was
didn't make it.
no. So we dunked on we started at 7.5 feet, which is really
Very-
low.
Oh,
right?
I was gonna say very high.
Very low. And so like we need like a 5-inch vertical to do that. So we do 7.5, 8, 8.5, and then not this is always the part that I tell people because it's so ridiculous. Then 9 feet, I did it, and Bert couldn't, so it's over. Like I win.
It should have been over.
It's So and then Tristan or somebody else was like, I think you can do like a little higher, and that's what happened.
Wow.
So like it was already like, I mean, for what we were trying to do, I did it. But like, it's a silly contest. But like
yeah.
Bert's like, I can't do it. I did. He's like, great, you did it. And then we were like walking away, and they're like, let's crank it up 3. I think they cranked it to 9.3, and that's when I just pushed off, and my patellar tendon snapped. That's what happens first is the tendon snaps.
First was that.
Right. So that's why it's as I'm pushing off. So I'm pushing off my left foot, tendon snaps, and then my arm instinctively goes behind my back. I think to brace
To brace
my body from devastating spinal impact.
Let me put a bone
Yeah.
in between my other bones.
And then my arm just snapped in half. So this humerus in half.
So I have a question because I
Didn't
asked
hurt.
them.
Didn't hurt. It
Yeah,
did
okay,
not hurt.
that was me. My
Okay.
question.
Oh.
Like the adrenaline kicks in because we had this talk about because they were talking about times they've like had the shit beaten out of them.
Yeah.
And obviously I've thank God never had
Yeah.
that. So I'm like, what's it? Do you just stop feeling the pain at a certain point? I'm just always for some reason very fascinated by that.
It's really interesting that your body. So the unique thing about what the hospital calls my trauma injuries. They're like, you're a
Right.
trauma patient. I was like, oh, cool. They're like,
That is kind of cool.
oh yeah, it's like the same as people who get like hit by a bus,
Yeah.
shit like
Right.
that. Yeah.
Stabbed.
So yeah, they're brought in he's like, this is our best trauma surgeon. I was like, great.
Yeah.
So interesting thing about the way your body like deals with pain, I have the double whammy, the leg and the arm. Your body, at least in my experience, doesn't like the pain is so severe, it doesn't process both at the same time. It's like
Right.
too much. So the only pain I really felt was my arm. It was so much more intense. And I was like, I think my leg, I mean, I understand that something happened to my leg, but it doesn't hurt.
Right.
And so like even in the ambulance, I was like, and they're like, how's your leg? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like my leg's fine. And they're like, it's not fine. They're
What's
like,
the
your patella
worst
is
injury?
way over here.
What's worse?
To recover from
Yeah.
the patellar tendon, because you're basically your leg cannot function. Like it's a useless leg without a patellar tendon, right? Because it allows the hinge to happen, and so without the tendon, your leg just basically just stays like
Straight.
it just hangs. You can't move it because the patellar tendon connects to the patellar and to the tibia, and it gives you the ability to extend.
Got it.
And pull, and like without the tendon, your leg doesn't do either. So now if it had just been the patellar tendon, it would have been like, all right, well at least I can use crutches,
Right.
you know, like or lean on things. But because the arm was broken, you have neither the arm or because this actually heals pretty, like 8 weeks or whatever. It's like they put titanium plates and drills, and they're like, it's just gonna take some time, and your arm works again. Now I have a bruised radial nerve, so like my fingers can't extend all the way right now. You know,
That'll
That's
get
it.
better.
Dope.
That's it.
that they're like it might take like
Saw it in.
Don't do that around here. You might get
they go
neighborhood's a little,
What's
little
up,
dicey.
they go your radial nerve is bruised, but it'll come back. Your nerves regrow at 1 millimeter a day. So I was like, okay, how long will it take? They're like, we've seen it happen as quick as like 6 weeks. And I go, and what's the longest it take? And they go like 26 months. And I was like, okay, so this might come back in 2 years.
Yes.
And they're like, probably.
Yeah.
So there's that. But the patellar tendon, because you don't use it for 6 weeks while you're in a straight brace, you have major muscle atrophy. And then, you got to learn how to walk again, all that
Yeah.
shit. So yeah, is this funny?
Fuck.
This
Yeah,
is,
sorry, no, because I'm not the funny one, so it's
Are you
it's my
fu- are you
question. I'm
still
gonna shut
fucking?
up now.
Yeah.
You have to. You got to
Yeah.
get it out. Yeah.
I didn't for a month.
Well, what does it do in the bedroom, and how safe do you and Christina have to be, or if it's somebody else?
Yeah, it could be anybody. No, you know what's weird is, I guess obviously your body biologically, chemically prioritizes things. And I was like, I got injured December 1st, so it's real easy to do the math on it.
Yeah.
I got home from recovery December 19th or 20th. And then I was like, it was Christmas and we're coming. I go, not only have I not had sex, haven't ejaculated or wanted to
Whoa.
in like a month, which I can't.
That would be the longest I've gone since I started.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I was like, isn't that weird? And then, Christina was like, I don't think so. I think your body's trying to heal.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, well, you want to fuck a cripple? And then she was like, sure. So
Lifelong dream.
lifelong
Can't
dream.
Wait.
So my dead hand just laid on her.
Oh,
And I was like, what's that feel like? And then I was like,
I think it feels the same as usual.
exactly. Yeah. And then, I don't know. It was,
God bless her. And God bless you.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it's been fun.
So what if you had to go through one or the other again, either the pain from the injury or all the helplessness? Like not because you couldn't even shit on your own.
Dude, it
What?
was the worst.
Oh
It was
yeah,
the-
Jamie-Lynn.
Because when you first get there to the hospital, they're like, you are fucked. I mean,
Right.
they tell you, they're like, you're so fucked right now. And you're like, I know. And like you really realize you can't do a goddamn thing. And the injuries are severe and the pain is through the roof, right? Through the roof. Like you can't do anything. So they start giving you oxys and fentanyl and and they're like, how's your pain now? And you're like, fucking 15. What are you talking about,
Yeah.
man? Like that doesn't.
Right.
I feel the effect of your drug, but the pain's not going.
Right.
So they just keep amping it up. And then I got Dilaudid, which is like, medicinal heroin, which made me go like, "Oh," and like, I was like, this is the shit. And then I got that for a number of days, but then also oxys. So like 5
Can't
days
go
in,
poo-poo.
5 days in, I was like, I haven't shit in 5 days. And I got like, it wasn't that I was in super pain or discomfort, but I started to mentally worry.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, if it gets to like 9 days, I go, I don't want to get to 8 days or 6 days. Like, let's end this shit right now. And so they gave me a suppository, right, up the ass, finger. And then this guy's like, all right, I'll come back. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, when you're done wiping, I go, I can't wipe myself.
Yeah.
Like, I can't lean. I can't. And he was like, ah. Like, I saw a nurse go, God damn. Like, so upset.
Oh, no.
He's like, God damn it. So then he wiped my ass and he was like, God, so much. I go, yeah, 5 days worth. Like, what do you mean? It's 5 days worth of shit. But then that happened a second time, like 3 days later, and then a third time. And on the third time, this is when I'm at a recovery center. Nurse does it. I go, hey, I don't want any more oxys. And she was like, okay, like, are you not? I go, I don't care about the pain. I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, this is worse than pain.
It's like, it's not, I mean, I don't know. It feels like demoralizing. Like, it just feels like.
Yeah, you don't feel dignified.
No, not at all.
Also,
Not
like
at
a
all.
bidet would work well.
He
I
needs a
feel.
tushy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
tushies are the
shout out to
bomb.
Tushy.
I feel like you could have just turned it on a full blast and then had them come in and just pat you dry.
Dude, I had this this nurse, real nice nurse. She, a veteran nurse, right? She's been doing it like 25, 30 years, and she was like, it's all right, it's gonna be fine. And I was like, it's not fine. Everything sucks. And I shit, and I was like, I don't think I can wipe. And she was like, it's okay, I'll take care of it. I stood
for
up,
her.
and she goes, oh my. And then she's like wiping me, and she's like, there's so much stool here. And I go, you mean shit? And she was like, well, the medical term. And I go, I understand, but I'm trying to just,
Yeah.
She's like, I have to call it stool
Yeah.
while I'm wiping it to
While I'm
not just
wiping it, to
gross the
not-
fuck out.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, I
Yeah.
think it's I was addicted to Percocets for a long time, and I think it's great that you were like, stop this, because you talk about how you're addicted to like chaotic behavior sometimes, like how people act, and like the guy who was fixing the bike, like your bicycle,
Yeah.
and like the electric bike, whatever, and or was it a scooter? What was it?
It was
The guy
it was a bike, and
Yeah.
the guy
So
who like
frustrating hearing that whole story.
The
by
text
way.
messages, very
So-
stressful.
I saved all of them.
But very,
You have to.
Yeah.
that's a drug addict. When I heard that stuff, when you were talking about it on the pod months ago, I was like, that guy's a drug addict. He's doing exactly what drug addicts
he's a
do.
drug addict for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, 100%.
The only thing where I was like, good, like, because I was so bothered but entertained by his nonsense, is that when he showed up, it was the equivalent of me being like, hey man, how do I get this cap on? And he literally was like this, and I was like, thanks for coming over. I didn't know it though. I didn't know. Like, I saw
course.
the bike. I'm not mechanical so I was like, shit, I need someone to fix this fucking thing. And he literally was like, this is what you called me for, and I was like, yep.
Yeah.
But you even said, like, even after all the dealing with him, and like something else happened, and you kept going to him because you're like, I'm addicted to the like material
Yes,
almost.
yes.
So when you're addicted to painkillers, I found it's way worse than like when I was doing coke. If you need coke, the guy comes with coke. Like he'll come 10 a.m., 3 in the morning, 8 o'clock at night. Whenever
Got it.
you need, he's there. He's coked up too. Like he's like, you want to do some coke, like fun. But when people are giving you painkillers, first of all, usually they're on painkillers, so their life is just in like some kind of tailspin. But also, they're just seem to be harder to get. But I had a guy who would literally tell me, like, let's say I would call him like 2 days before I ran out because I knew what was gonna happen. At 6 p.m. he'd be like, "Hey man, all right, I'll be there by 8." Okay, no problem. I'd call him at like 9, at 9 o'clock. He'd be like, "Oh, my bad. I just had to go meet somebody else. I'll be there. You're my next stop." I go,
Yeah.
"Okay, no problem, dude." Then like 10 o'clock comes, I call him. He's like, "Oh, I'm parking the car right now."
Yeah.
I go, "Awesome, bro. I'll see you in a minute." 30 minutes later, I call him. He's like, "Oh, I'm in your lobby. Like, I got a phone call or whatever." Okay, no problem. 30 minutes later, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm in your hallway. Like, I'm here." I'd be like, "Okay." I would open the door and he wouldn't be there. And then he just wouldn't answer for the next like however many hours or give you some shit because they don't want you going to another dealer.
Of course.
So the shit that I've,
It's a terrible way to run a business.
it's horrible.
It's not great. But
And
unfortunately,
so-
they need your product.
It's so frustrating though to be
Yeah.
on your end of
Right.
it. You're like,
Yeah, especially when you're sick. You know,
Yeah.
when you start to like, get a fever and
Yeah.
you start to feel like shit. Yeah, that's not fun.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
Guys,
Hey guys,
I am
hey,
moving.
Jamie is.
And you know one of the things, like when you move, you want all new sheets.
Yeah.
All
Like
new sheets.
I like all new towels and all new sheets. And I'm going to tell you what my sheets are going to be. Attitude.
Woo.
It is the 100% organic bamboo fabric. It is the bedding essential that is so comfortable for you and good for the environment. It is so soft. It is so cool. Like they don't get hot, which Cutter really likes the sheets because Cutter's like a hot sleeper.
Yeah, we all are.
They're so comfortable and the quality is amazing. And unlike cotton, which consumes massive amounts of water and energy and chemicals during production, Attitude uses just organic bamboo, which is the most resource efficient plant on the planet. Their 100% organic fabric has a unique, silky, smooth, and feathery soft texture that is similar to silk. I agree.
It feels
Very
exactly
silky.
like silk.
Yes.
I slip and slide in it, and it makes me feel richer.
and
Yep.
sexy.
Financially, I feel improved
Yep.
when I'm sleeping.
You're
on
vibrating higher. And they are temperature regulating, they are hypoallergenic, antibacterial, and toxin free, guys. And guess what? You can try any Attitude bedding for 30 nights. And if you're not completely satisfied, return it for a full refund. What?
That's crazy.
It's a great deal.
Who does that? So right now you can get 20% off your order plus free shipping when you visit attitude.com/pajama and enter promo code pajama. Remember that's Attitude as in eco attitude. Order today for free shipping and 20% off your order at attitude.com/pajama, promo code pajama.
Or pajama.
That's what we all are sleeping in right now. And Corona, everybody's kind of a little more miserable, and it's something nice when it's like,
Yes.
I know I'm getting into my bed and it's
Oh my God,
comfy.
it's so, even the
and-
bag it comes in is
Yeah.
the fabric.
It's gonna start warming up too, and I'll tell you when it's hot out and you got one of those bamboo sheets in there, you feel much cooler.
That's right.
Attitude, guys.
Attitude. Hey now.
You're
You're
an
looking
all-star.
at the three numero uno customers of Postmates.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're anything like us, you start thinking about what you were, especially Rob,
Yeah.
what he's going to eat once a day.
I'm thinking about it right now.
And, we love food, but sometimes getting in the kitchen, like, it's not always Sunday, we don't always want to cook. We're not always, but we want delicious food.
Yep.
Enter Postmates, guys. You can get food delivered without leaving the house or even opening your front door because they'll leave it right there. With the current state of the world, Postmates created non-contact delivery. So now when you order from local restaurants, everything gets left on your doorstep and the app lets you know when it's been delivered. It also keeps you updated like 5 minutes. They picked it up. They're on their way.
I know when to drink my vegetable juice.
There you go. That's right. Rob's got to time it all out. They also offer now a pickup option, which I've been using a lot to order takeout from favorite local restaurants because it's actually really important to support and uplift our communities right now with this past year that we've had. And look, you guys, it also isn't all just burgers and sushis. You can order any sushis.
It is
You get a
sushis.
sushi burger
You can order
from 26
anything
Beach in Venice.
from
Sue,
toilet paper.
she's great.
From toilet paper to phone chargers from stores like Walgreens and 7-Eleven. So a Postmate will go into the store for you and drop it right outside your front door. You can just download Postmates on iOS or Android, find your favorites, get anything you want delivered within the hour. And for a limited time, Postmates is giving our listeners $5 off your first 5 orders for your first 7 days. Can you keep track of that? Save $5 on your first 5 deliveries when
Each
you
one.
download the app and use code PAJAMA. That's code PAJAMA for $5 off your first 5 orders when you download the Postmates app or sign up online. Anything you need, anytime you need it, Postmate it. And don't forget to tip your Postmates, guys.
Tip those guys.
They're
They're working
so
hard.
important. They're working hard.
That bike guy, dude, I'll never get his image. And he's like, he's like, I'll see you first thing in the morning, or I'll call you first thing in the morning. I'm like, all right. And they'd be like 8, 9, 10, 11. I was like, morning's almost over, bro.
Yeah.
And he's like, I had to just do this one. I thought it was first. And he was like, I'm in Malibu. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, I'll be there next. And then it's like 1:45. I'm like, where are you? He's like, beach traffic. I was like, beach traffic?
Yeah.
What? It's not July 4th. What are you
Right.
talking about?
60 degrees out.
Yeah, and then he'd come at 6 p.m. I'm here. I'm like, first thing in the morning, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a madness. Who else is like that? I got someone else doing that to me right now.
I was playing a lot of poker at the time, and there were times where he'd be like, I'm 10 minutes away, and somebody would text me, and we start talking, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I just saw your guy. He's out here at the casino, which is in New Jersey, like 2 hours away, 3 hours away from New York City. And he's like, yeah, I just saw him like walking around the thing. I'm like, he said he's downstairs.
Dude, there's two that people I just worked with that I'm like, what is wrong with you? One is I have a therapist who comes to the house who I'm like, hey, when's our next session? And she'll be like, how's Thursday? Cool. What time? She's like 4 to 5. I'm like, wait, you mean starting at 4? She's like, no, I'll arrive between 4 and 5. I'm like, you just pick one or the other.
Yeah.
And she's like, and then
Beach traffic.
yeah, then it'll be like 4, like 5, and I'm like, hey, where are you? And she's like, on my way. And I'm like, outside of the window.
Yes.
And then she'll arrive 30 minutes after that, and I'm like, hey, what's up? She's like, this city's big. I'm like, did you just get here?
Yeah.
Like, this is Los Angeles.
Do you get this a lot where you think people, because you're a comedian, people just go like, oh, like he doesn't give a shit
Yes.
about promptness or like, I'm
Totally.
just like, yeah, he'll be funny and he's always in a good mood.
Yeah. Or they'll like come to the house and they're like it'll be somebody working at the house, and they'll be like, what's up, man? And you're like, hey, what's up? And they're like,
Yeah. They want to hear a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like,
I'm
no, I
like-
just need you to
I'm
work.
like, I just want you to fix this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like,
yeah.
but I mean,
Yeah.
let's joke around a little
That
bit.
last
Like, no.
episode, huh?
No.
Yeah.
No, oh, this is the other one. I had commissioned a few paintings and I had them framed at a frame shop. And the ordeal of this guy where I was like, hey, can you come over? Because I want the frame to match a frame that I have. So he's like, yeah, he's like close to where I live. He goes, how's like 30 minutes? And I go, great. And then he just never shows up.
Yeah.
Right? Like never shows up. So I call, no answer. The next day I call and I'm like, hey man, remember me? Come look at my frame. He's like, oh yeah. He goes, you know what happened? And I go, what?
You want to hear a story?
No.
I go, what? And he goes, I forgot.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm like, what
Very
the fuck
honest.
kind of
Very
explanation
honest,
is that?
though.
Yeah, it's very honest.
It's very Tim Dillon of him.
But then he just keeps doing that. Like he's just always doing that. I'm like, he's like, I'll drop it off tonight. I'm like, all right. Next day, I'm like, hey man, what's up? And he's like, yeah, things got real busy. I'm like, well, yeah. But you said
Yes.
that you would drop it off. So that's why I assumed
Yeah.
that you would. And he's like, yeah, no, I'll do it today probably. I'm like,
Right.
okay.
You know what?
Probably.
That's like people who like. I remember back in the day when my life was fucking chaos, and like I would have a girl sometimes or a guy, whoever, would call me just repeatedly over and over, and I'm like, what? How do you feel when I pick up? Like if somebody doesn't pick up your first 3
Yes.
calls, but then they pick up your 8th,
Yeah.
like you're just, and they're like, hey, what's up? And you're like, no,
Yeah.
like that's not. I don't know if
like,
I.
are you dying? 'Cause
Yeah.
Otherwise, just leave a message.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
And it
text
was just,
me.
but
How
it
do
was
you, we
always
just had this
drugs.
debate, and like, I don't know if you guys agree with it. This might be age specific, but if
We're like
okay.
the same age.
Well, I'm saying though, but maybe you'll
Jamie's much
agree with
older.
me,
Right.
or like
I am much older.
Jamie, who's in her 60s, will disagree. I don't know.
Right.
Is FaceTiming someone super aggressive if you're not in the inner circle?
Insane.
If
It
you're
is,
not
right?
in the inner circle,
Insane.
yes.
Yeah.
Because you
to
have
just
no
see a
idea. Like I have
FaceTime, you're
no
like,
idea what I'm gonna be like picking
doing
up
or
to.
yeah.
No.
Like if you if you're casual, know somebody and they FaceTime, you'd be like, what are
Never.
you doing?
No.
I even
I
think that,
actually
like,
think casually knowing somebody and them calling you is a little rude.
it's a
Just
like
text me.
at this point you kind of got to be. I feel like it's 2021. You got to be like, hey, like establish, Jamie. Do you have a second for a call?
Yes.
It's like giving you the
Correct.
heads up,
Yeah.
Correct.
right? And then you go like, yeah, I can do a call, or not now.
Right. Because
Maybe I'm in the middle of something. And then if I'm like, how about FaceTime? You'd be like, WTF?
Yes.
10 exclamation points.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said that, and then some people were like, nah, dude, that's normal now. I'm like, wait, what?
No.
No.
What?
The worst
No.
are people who FaceTime you and they don't use the FaceTime. Like they
You're
FaceTime
staring
you
at
and then
their
they're
ceiling.
like, yeah, they're doing other shit or like
Or
they're not.
FaceTime audio. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a Wi-Fi thing, I think. That's like
Yeah.
somebody trying to
get a
get some
signal.
free
Yeah.
phone call or some. Yeah.
Okay.
Someone's got a
Okay.
bad plan. And they,
I mean, I actually called a very close girlfriend of mine earlier today and apologized when I left a message that I called.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry I'm calling and
Yeah.
leaving this message. Like, I'm inconveniencing her that she's going to have to listen to it because I was like, I'm driving, so I can't text you. But
Yep.
if I don't call, I'm going to forget this. Blah,
I
blah,
feel
blah,
like
blah.
I'll send you a voice note if I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send
Voice
you a voice
notes,
note.
that's like a cool person thing.
That's
I'm not
kinda-
on that train yet.
I
I have a
feel
lot
like-
of friends that send voice notes like back, like their whole text message conversation is just
Voice notes.
voice notes to
Yeah.
each other.
I like sending them. I don't like listening to them. You know, because then it's
Well, I don't
just
like
like hearing a
listening to them when my
voicemail and
kids
it
are
takes
around.
time. Right.
It does take time. But
And sometimes
you
I
wanna
like to refer
go-
back to the text. You know, I could at least reread it and see. But on a voice note, they evaporate after a
Yeah.
while.
The only reason I don't always do voice notes is because there's other people. I'm like, oh, I don't want people hearing the garbage I'm saying. You know, like it's usually
Yeah.
not great when, when
Bo-
I'm
What kind of stuff are you saying?
just crazy, horrible.
My
shit.
7-year-old can kind of read now, and like his big thing is like going behind me and looking at my text messages without me knowing.
Oh,
And
he
being
hopped
"Why'd
on
you-"
our thread.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
did?
Like the other day, my husband was texting me because we're moving, we're packing, and you know there's always issues or drama or whatever, and he just wrote like "what the fuck" or something, and Bo was behind me going, Why did Daddy use the F word? And I was like, he did it. I was like putting it like he didn't. What did you read? And he's like, I thought I read. He said something about funk. I was like, yes,
Wow.
that's exactly what he said. Something smelled funky, Bo.
I love when I'm at your house and a curse slips out of you, and like Bo is just like the
clocks
look
it
he
every
gives to you,
time.
yeah, and it's like,
It's like 100 times a day.
yeah, it is.
fine.
We tried to police ourselves really, especially with the first one, you know, like,
Right.
hey, is that what? And now, like, we have a 5 and a 2-year-old. I'm always just like, God fucking damn it.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then
you
my
gotta-
2-year-old go, God fucking damn it. And I'm like, uh-oh.
It's so cute though.
It is cute. And he says, God damn it all the
God
time.
damn
And I'm
it,
like,
so good.
he picked up on it.
The
Nothing
other
I can
day,
do.
her 2-year-old, I was like, you can't do that, Jack, and he goes, I do whatever I want.
There you go.
That was sick.
He did not learn that from me.
Yep.
I don't know.
Not me.
I love little kid cursing. It's the
best. It's
Yeah.
the best.
You know, there's things in life where like you don't understand, and then people explain it to you, and you go, oh, okay. And then there's things you don't understand, and people explain, and you go, I just don't. And you know, you did your live shows, which was fucking awesome.
was
Like,
fun.
loved it. And you did skits, and you were like, you know, it's hard to get legit actors to do our skits because they're crazy and whatever. And I'm like, I don't understand how like playing a Nazi in a Quentin Tarantino movie gets you so much praise and love and appreciate, but then like playing pretend an actor in one of your skits, it's like a horrible thing to do. And
I
how
agree.
Could you,
I
I don't
mean,
get it.
You know, we hired casting people to cast one of the ones we did, and she told the guy producing it, she was like, I can't even send this to my roster of people. And I was like, what? Why? And it's a crazy sketch, but I'm like, it's not crazier than anything that exists.
Yes.
If it was,
You
if
know?
it had Quentin Tarantino on it, she would have had no problem.
Right,
sending
right.
it.
So I mean that part I get. So I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe it's that it's not, you know, a studio production or whatever. But you know, for this next one that I'm trying to do, I'm gonna reach out, but offer just real money, and then be like, okay, so will you turn down this offer? Like, it's more than you'll get to do a fucking studio movie. So
Right.
Yeah.
will you turn it down or will you do it? You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, Christina's just like, no one's gonna do your psycho shit. I'm like, it's not that crazy, you know?
Well, but it's also for like a same thing. It's for entertainment.
It's entertainment. Yeah.
You're
And
not
it's
like
it's not porn. I'm
No.
not like, hey, so then pull your
You're not
tits out. Like,
exploiting
no,
anything.
no. It's like,
just call Rob and I. We'll read it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do
Okay.
it. We'll do the
But
same.
I don't understand how people can like what is this imaginary line? Like, is it money? Is it the level of the? Because let's say you like, I feel like you can get like, to me, your mom's house is bigger than like a lot of
Yes.
places that I would get a script from, and it's like you like. But even if somebody said, "Hey, we're doing a really small independent movie," and you're a scumbag Nazi
Right, you're an
rapist,
actor in
and
it.
people are like, "Yeah, sure."
It's great. I know.
It's
I'll pitch-
legitimacy.
When the cameras are off, I'll pitch you this one,
Okay.
and you tell me where I should pivot.
Okay.
You're like, I don't know about that.
Okay.
But
I
yeah.
want to talk about your live shows because I've watched a couple now, and I'm gonna try and paint this as a compliment.
Okay.
It's one of the most well-produced, hilarious few hours I've spent on the internet that I I felt physically sick.
Thank you.
From, and you've painted this like you've cornered yourself into this like one of the most vile, disgusting parts of the internet that somehow I'll come back to. You know what I mean? Like I watched a dude shit on fries and eat them.
Oh my God.
And poutine. And
shout out to Norm Somerton.
Not a dude that's into that stuff. Like when I was a kid, you'd go on rotten.com and like,
Yes.
let's look at that Tupac autopsy photo and like, you know, let's look at guys fucking getting decapitated. And you go, okay, I was just a kid. I was like, wasn't fully formed. But now I haven't really, you know, I've kind of moved away from that stuff. And then I watched one of your live shows and I couldn't look away, even though there's some very crazy shit. And did you just did that just happen? Because I don't think the plan was when you started podcasting was to like show these kinds of videos initially.
No,
right?
I mean, it's funny you say, I appreciate you checking it out. And
and I loved it, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It actually came, it was a really organic thing where, you know, your mom's house it started as an audio clip show. Like we would talk, and then I love audio drops. So I would basically try to make the show that I enjoy, because I was like, I love funny audio clips.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of audio stuff. Years later, we added video, so we started playing video clips. And then we got to the point, sometimes you go, well, we can't play this, right? Like it'll get flagged, or it's too outrageous, or it's copyright. So, you know, we just deal with that as it comes. And my agent called me and he goes, you know, it's you know, during the pandemic, you can't do anything. He goes, what if you did like a ticketed special event where you can show your craziest clip? So it's supposed to be a one-off idea. And I go, well, you know, we can try it. Like basically no rules, but like do the same kind of show. And then we did it. It was a big success, like as an endeavor, like business-wise, but it upset the president of the company that hosted the show.
Yeah.
So they had it removed, and I was like, wait, what? And then that fueled people. They were like, well, you got to do it again. You just got to figure out some other place to do it. So we ended up doing it again, and that's called YMH Live. But then, you know, with Bert and I have two bears, we go, well, how can we do something different than that? And that was like Two Bears Live was like a whole different thing of like us just having a party basically, right? And but then trying to add production elements to raise the value of the show. So we went and saw Dominatrix, and we shot all this content with her. But on Your Mom's House, here's the thing about crazy clips. I realized that the reason that the live shows keep growing and like each one has surpassed the previous one, I think it's because some of it's curiosity. People go, I want to see if I can see this thing. But I think the real thing is that you're watching these crazy clips as a community.
Yeah.
And that's the actual thing that gets people really into it. Is they're like, because they'll have viewing parties, but they're also on Twitter, and they're also like making memes in the moment and talking about it. And it's basically, let's watch this chaos together. Because it's way different to watch something like on your phone alone. You're like, oh, that's pretty crazy.
Right.
To that being like, hey, guys, let's all sit together and watch this shit. And all of a sudden, it's this whole, you know, cathartic kind of experience of like, look at this, not like this craziness as a group.
It makes me feel less weird if I were to watch somebody eating their own shit.
Alone.
If Jamie was here,
Jamie's there.
if we were watching it together, and then I could occasionally look over and see the look on her face,
That's the fun.
as opposed to being at home.
Yes.
That's the fun.
Yeah.
The fun of it is like, even in the studio, we're like, oh my God. Like and then like we try to add more elements. So we shoot like sketches, and we have
A lot of effort.
musical guests.
There's a lot
we
of
try
effort.
to put a
You
lot
don't
into it.
limp in, and it's clear that you're not doing it to make a quick buck. And
Yeah,
that's
we
great.
try to like really make it worth a $10 ticket, you know?
Yeah.
So-
Especially in these times, you know, it's probably just feels so good for so many people to feel like they're
Yes.
part of something
Yes.
and they're, like you said, the community and watching it all together.
And I don't know anyone that's doing anything remotely close to
No.
it. There's just
No.
it's just a group of funny people, otherwise seemingly normal people, looking at the fucking craziest, most disgusting stuff together.
Yeah, and we've got like, you know, because we did the one during the Super Bowl, which was like basically
With
a
Warren
little,
Sapp.
Yeah, with Warren
Yeah, yeah.
Sapp. And that was a little departure for us because we're like, we'll be a companion to a sporting event to see how it goes. That went well. And then the one that I'm planning, I mean, we have other ones coming up, but I'm actually trying to do one that takes the longest, which is the scripted sketches, but have a host who continuously brings you in and out of them. And that'll be like a one-off thing. But that, you know, that'll end up being a massive production.
Yeah.
Like
it's a full show.
It'll be a full show.
Yeah.
Wow. This episode is brought to you by our friends over at Braddock.
Come on,
and listen
Braddock.
closely because they're having a special offer exclusively for our listeners. We got to wear masks. Got to double mask it now, apparently. So where can you find affordable and reusable, comfortable, breathable, wonderful, incredible, lovable,
Bountiful
masks?
Washable.
Braddock daily face covers, right here, made in USA. They're handmade here in Los Angeles. They're here to protect our community and our fellow citizens. They're born out of a necessity in their factory, which was fully stocked, and they do it all under one roof. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee, so if you're not happy, just let them know, and they'll make it right for you. So when you go check out their website at BraddockUSA.com, you will see they already have great prices, but now for a limited time, they're offering an additional, look how sexy they look in these masks. They're offering an additional 20% off with promo code PJPants. Again, that's 20% off your entire order with promo code PJPants at BraddockUSA.com, BraddockUSA.com with promo code PJPants.
One of our oldest sponsors, guys.
Yeah, this is our most loyal.
Our OG.
We love Braddock USA. But let me tell you something. You see what's going on right now with my mask that I just took out of my pocket? I'm talking, it's not moving. All these people who are constantly talking and then you look like an asshole. Yeah. You look like an asshole.
It's hard to watch.
Get Braddock. I'll go out for 3 hours. I never touch my mouth. I'm never adjusting this. It's like I said, you even watch like the Super Bowl and these guys are like, oh, I can't figure out.
Yes.
This is Braddock. That's it. They're soft. They're the best. It's when my Braddock masks run out in the wash, I do the wash because I want more Braddock masks. And I'm not just trying to sell them. I'm just telling you what my life is like.
Yep.
Support the people, support the show, guys.
Hey, guys. Don't let the stress of daily life weigh on your body. Whether you're an elite athlete or someone like us, just trying to make it through the day tension-free.
What does that mean?
Theragun can help. Theragun is a handheld percussive therapy device that releases your deepest muscle tension using a scientifically calibrated combo of depth, speed, and power, and it's as quiet as a toothbrush. I use mine every night in bed before I fall asleep, and I swear to God, I fall asleep better, faster, my body's relaxed, and it's so quiet. We're watching TV as we're both using ours side by side, and we have these cute little stands, so they like kind of look sort of chic on your nightstand. And the Theragun Gen 4 doesn't just feel good, it gets to the source of the pain by releasing tension. It's using Theragun's signature percussive therapy, which goes 60% deeper than vibration alone. It also has an OLED screen and design that makes you feel like you're holding something from the future. So just go to their site and check it out. And the Theragun app learns from your behaviors and suggests guided routines. How awesome is that? Theragun is trusted by 250 professional sports teams like Real Madrid and elite athletes like Paul George, DeAndre Hopkins, Maria Sharapova, hundreds of thousands of customers, and us. So try Theragun for 30 days starting at only $199. Go to Theragun.com/pajama right now. Get your Gen 4 Theragun today. That's Theragun.com/pajama. Theragun.com/pajama.
And some people think like, oh, $199 is a lot of money. How much you pay for a massage? That's 3
Exactly.
massages. I haven't had one massage in the last year because of COVID. So you get this, and you're saving money.
Ain't no one touching me. I have the $199 one, and it's and I have also the nice one, the more expensive one, and they both have the same amount of
power,
percussive. You know, and one's just smaller. And I take it on the road with me when I go on the road.
Yes, great traveling piece.
And it also feels good. Like you feel like you're doing something good for your body when you're doing it. You're like, oh, that was good.
So
good.
good.
Thanks, Rob. That's what I say after I do it. Thanks, Rob.
It's self-love.
And sometimes me and the person I'm having sex with in that moment, you know, we lay next to each other and we mutually Theragun each other.
That's in right now.
Yeah, it's very in.
Big foreplay.
Do your love life a favor.
Yeah.
If tomorrow YouTube said like, you know what, there's no more restrictions, nothing. Do you think your show would start to lean more towards how the live shows are, or would it be somewhere in the middle, or do you love the way it is now?
I think it would still be, because even like during the live shows, at the end of it, I'm like, Jesus, I don't want to see anything like that for a while.
Yes.
Because so I like jumping into that and then getting away from it. You know, I've even told the guys, because they were like, during our regular YouTube show, they're like, you keep playing crazy shit. I go, stop putting it in my folder. Right. Like, I'm never going to not play it if it's there. Because they have, like, folders. I go, don't give me the option to play that shit.
Yeah.
And then I won't play it. And they're like, well, you played this. I go, because you put it there. Like, I can't resist. I can't resist playing it. So as long as I don't have the option, I'll be all right.
And also, not only did you have your injury, but you also had a vasectomy and COVID all in the last...
And a hernia operation.
All in the last how long?
You got it all out. You got it all out. Good for you.
August, I had the hernia and vasectomy. And the hernia post-hernia operation, at that point, I was like, this is the most painful thing I've experienced.
Yeah.
Because when you have the, inguinal hernia, which is like below the waist, it's like your pubic pad is where it is.
Oof. And you already had that. You know, you were already in there.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm in there. So they do the vasectomy, and you're like, great. Like, I can't wait. But the hernia, you don't realize that your body, for any movement, even to the most minimal degree, engages your core, right? Like, just like you reach, your core still, like, contracts a bit. Dude, like, I mean, you go to sit up, and your eyes just start running. You're like, oh, my God, it's so fucking bad. And I couldn't say anything, and they gave me, like, Tylenol. You know, they're like, here's for the pain. I'm like, Tylenol. But yeah, then that, and then the COVID was, I'm in the hospital. No, I'm in the hospital, then I go to recovery. In recovery, I finally get off of oxys, right? I told you, I get off of them, and I'm like, and then one of the nurses is like, hey, you know, you're going to feel, have you felt really down yet? And I go, no. And they're like, it's coming. And I go, what do you mean? They're like, you're going to feel like real bluesy and emotional. And I'm like, okay, I don't think so.
Yeah.
The next day I'm like, like crying, really crying.
Oh.
I mean, crying during commercials.
Wow.
Crying. I talked to one of the nurses. I was like, you're such a good nurse. And I started crying to her, and she's like, okay. So I'm like, okay, this is the withdrawal. On top of that, the next day, I'm achy. I have diarrhea. And I'm like, oh, these are all oxy withdrawals, right?
Yeah.
So that's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm starting to feel better. I'd had aches, pains, like I said, stomach. And I'm like, oh fuck. And they had like some food. They're like, I go, I can't eat it. I'm just like, I can't. And they go, I think you have a bug. Do you want to just get a COVID test to rule it out? And I'm like, yeah, sure. They come, they do a test. I go, where's the result? Because they were supposed to give me a same day result. I don't know. Next morning, I'm leaving recovery. And I go, what happened to my test? And now I'm feeling much better.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. I think the nurse didn't turn in your sample in time. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
So it's free now, right? And they're like, no, it's not. So I go home. Now I'm home for the first time in 20 days. I go in and I watch a movie with my oldest and Christina. And like the movie ends, and I'm like, all right, you know. And she had brought a nurse to like make sure I settle in and everything at the house. And then as the movie ends, I go beep, open my phone, and it's like COVID test result positive. And I was like, I have COVID.
Oh,
cool.
And I just got home, so I just like spread it to the house.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, cool. And then I tell recovery, I'm like, hey. And they're like, oh, hi, it's so good to hear from you. I'm like, yeah, I just got my test result. And they're like, what is it? I was like, positive. And they're like, oh my God. And then they go into a full panic.
Of course.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know how I got it, but I got it, I think there. And they're so careful. So I go, I'm like sitting there trying to figure out.
How you
Because you see these people, I mean, nurses with masks and shields and gloves. I'm like, I mean, I don't think they gave it to me. You know, I don't know.
Even in recovery, they were all
Super
PPE'd up.
Super PPE'd up. I mean, the only thing I thought was like, you're in a place like that, there's still like, you know, people that kind of aren't part of the medical staff, right? Like housing, like a engineer or like a housekeeping type of.
Could have been on like your food tray.
Could have been, exactly. Or I'd walk the hall, you know, and someone might walk past and I guess I got it there.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a big surprise.
But you didn't get any symptoms past that?
After I got home, smell went away. I started to get it back like in the last week.
Wow,
just in the last
a long
week?
time.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it's not sharp. It's like subtle now.
Wow.
And then.
So Christina can fart all she wants in front of you.
Oh, and she
would
does.
Not know.
She definitely does. She lost her smell because I gave her COVID.
She got it too. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Your kids?
We never tested them.
Yeah.
But we were all over them. We didn't, you know,
Of course.
and they're fine.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, our doc was like, your kids will be fine. Don't even worry.
Yeah.
They were. nothing. I mean, nothing.
A lot of your podcast is like watching people getting injured and laughing. Like, how long after your injury were you able to watch the first thing and find humor? Like, oh, it's funny.
I remember being in the hospital and being like, man, they're gonna love when this fucking video comes out.
Dude,
Like,
thank God you filmed it. I mean,
You're
could you
like,
imagine
I'm
if you did
one
all
of those
that?
videos right now.
I mean, it spread like
Yeah.
wildfire, and I knew it would get bigger than our universe.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just too. I mean, it's perfectly filmed. It's such a ridiculous freak accident injury.
Yes.
I was like, I mean, I remember that they gave me the clip of it on the 3rd, so before surgery. And I was like, I think I'm going to wait till after surgery to watch this, you know, because I was like so freshly injured. I was like, I don't want to watch this yet.
Yeah.
After surgery, he's like, surgery was great. And I was like, I'm going to watch this. I call in the doctor. I was like, hey, man, you want to see something? And he goes, yeah. I go, I got the injury on film. And he goes, what? He goes, I would love to see this because I can show it to like staff, you know, because he's an orthopedic trauma surgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, check it out. I play it for him. He goes, oh. And I go, yeah, right. He goes, I don't ever want to see that again. I go, what the fuck? And he goes,
your
that's
job, dude."
gruesome. I go, you're a trauma surgeon.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but that was horrible. And
Yeah.
I'm like, he goes, I don't want it. And I go, what? What? He goes, it's too, he's like, it's just hard to watch. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And then, yeah, I mean, part of your brain goes like, is this person in the pain I was in?
Right. Yeah.
But then some of it is, I think that's the thing too, is even people were telling me that I was a psycho for laughing at injuries. I'm like, yeah, but I don't laugh at like, you know, like watching a game and the guy's leg breaks this way. I don't go, oh, ha, 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 that's hilarious.
Right.
Right.
I laugh at things where like you kind of can't see the extent of the damage.
Yeah.
You know, like a perfect example being that garage crush thing. It's like you don't see an injury. You see that like something happened that shouldn't happen,
Right.
and a guy lets out an incredible scream, and he's obviously, but you're not seeing blood and gore, and you know, so like I could still laugh at things like that, but yeah, it probably took me like a month.
Right. Before
to
you
go.
were
Yeah.
feeling
Feeling rascally. Yeah.
that. So I have a picture. I told you before. My dad looks exactly like you, but
Yes.
I want from 1 to, because you say all the time like, oh, it's so annoying. People say that there's people who look like me. I want an
It's
honest.
so many.
I want an honest 1 to 100 scale of how
1
much.
to 100.
Yeah, 1 to 100, because 1 to 10 is a little too. I want an honest 1 to 100 scale on how much you think my dad looks like you.
Okay. I
It's
mean,
pretty good. The eyes a little bit are different.
Yeah, the eyes.
I think we're probably in like the 60s.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, really? See,
Yeah.
I think it's more. I think just the beard and
The
the
beard
bald head
coloring
gets
is
you.
very similar.
Similar, yeah.
The
head
way your
shape.
beard has.
How old is he?
He was, I don't know, 53, 54.
Yeah, so he's like 10, 12 years older than me. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see the similarities. I would say like 65.
Yeah.
See, that's crazy. To me, it's so
higher?
much higher.
Really?
yeah. Well, I think it is. It's just
Hold
the
on.
beard and the bald head. For me.
Sometimes I don't know what I look like. Hold on. All right, I'll give you 70.
All right, cool. What your parents are my favorite. I love listening
my
on your
God,
podcast.
Dude, your mom ripping a fucking juicy fart.
I'm going to go see her
Ugh.
on Saturday. Get on a plane.
So how did they hear and how did they react when this happened?
Dude, that's a good one. When did I call them? I think I called them. So not the day. You know, I actually left the hospital, right?
What do you mean?
So
Well, yeah, you're here.
Like your
no,
first.
I left a hospital that night and switched hospitals the next day
Oh, because it was not.
because I was like, this hospital sucks.
yeah.
And they were like, what? Like they were like, you can't leave. I was like, oh, I'm leaving.
How bad does a hospital have to be for
I knew
you,
it,
the
I
patient?
knew it instinctively and immediately. And my surgeon, he was like, that is one of the most impressive things. He goes, you did absolutely the right thing.
I want to know what red flags you saw.
I mean, I literally got wheeled up to the outside. I was like, I'm not staying here tonight. Like right away. Right away. I knew it right
Just
away.
looked bad.
Because it was the closest hospital.
It was close to where the injury happened, and I was like, And I saw the hallways and where they put me, and I was listening to the chaos around me.
Maybe that's where you got COVID.
No, because it was too much later.
Oh, it was too much
I
later.
wish it was.
You wish it was
I
there.
wish that was the solution. Like I want to solve the crime, but
Right.
there was a guy next to me, just losing his mind at this place. Which that doesn't mean it, but I was like, nah.
Yeah.
And they pumped me full of so many pain drugs, and I was like, I'm going home. And they're like, you sure? And I go, yep. And they sat me up, and for some reason when I was laying down, I was just like, I guess chilling. They sat me up, and I just started to sweat, like profusely sweat. And they were like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I think I'm all right." Just like pouring sweat, and they're like, "You were sweating so much right now, dude." And I was like, "Well, I was laying down. Now I'm sitting up."
Well,
like,
course.
didn't make any sense. My
It's a big
explanation.
difference.
And then when I left there, I go home. So I go home with the tendon snapped and the arm broken, just like a wrap.
It hadn't
around
been fixed
Nothing.
yet.
And then the next morning, I'm like going to another doctor, and then I go to see another doctor. He goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "You need to be in the hospital like right now." Yeah. I was like, "Oh, should I?" He's like, "Just leave here and go there." And he goes, "It's just
Holy
where you have to
shit.
be in the
How
hospital."
were you getting in and out of places? A wheelchair?
I had a shitty wheel, like
Where'd
the
you find it?
shittiest wheel. Bert Kreischer hired a guy for $50 who had a van and like a 35-year-old wheelchair. It was so old and like not what I needed, that, you know, with the leg you needed to keep straight but elevated. It
Yeah.
didn't elevate.
Yeah.
So we would go up to, I go, hey, and I have to like lift my leg up with my arm so my leg didn't get caught on something.
Oh my God.
It was chaos, man. It
Wow.
was total chaos. Did I answer the question? I don't remember what it was.
How did your parents find out?
So I think like I didn't tell them the first night, like when I was first injured. I think that when I finally got admitted to the second hospital, I called them and I was like, "Hey, I'm playing basketball and I ruined my life." And they were like, "What?" And they were, you know,
I'll never be the
they
same.
were sad because they were like, "We want to come
Yeah.
to the hospital and see you and stuff," and they're on another coast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, they were totally like, "Oh shit." And I was like, "I have it on video."
You know, people when you tell people like YMH is my favorite podcast, and then they watch it, they kind of get a sense of like your sense of humor and what the kind of shit you're into, and then a lot of times people will be like, "Oh man, you're nuts," you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I told, because there were people who, me and Jamie were on your podcast, I told people whoever I spoke to that week, I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know, I did my favorite podcast. I'm going to be on." They're like, "Oh, I'll check it out. Cool." And those people thought I was actually crazy. Like they thought something was really wrong with me because we happened to do the one episode you ever did where I guess it got flagged a couple episodes before. So you did like a fake podcast the first 20 minutes where you were like, "Here's video of a panda eating bamboo."
Oh, yeah.
And then the panda like ate bamboo and you're like, "Isn't that sweet?"
And
you're like,
that's
"Here's
the
a
episode?
Yeah, and they're like, "Here's a baby smiling." Now, some people who watched the video were like, "Oh, I get it. They're comedians are doing." My manager listened only on audio,
Just that.
and he's like, "This is your fucking favorite podcast?" He's like, "I'm listening to a panda eating bamboo." I was like,
A simple man.
"Let me explain." Yeah,
Yeah.
th're so horrible and raunchy that they
Yeah.
actually.
We got flagged a few weeks ago. We had a big episode that had like pretty great numbers, I remember, out of the gate. And then the next day I got all these messages like, "Why is it gone?" I'm like, "What do you mean it's gone?"
Yeah.
And they took it down.
They don't even tell you?
Well, at first they were like, "You violated the," and we're like, "What the fuck do you mean?"
Yeah.
And then we had to like follow up with our contact there, and then basically they were like, "Oh, you played a copywritten clip," and I was like, "Well, say that."
Right.
Yeah, it would be cool if they like gave you the opportunity to like maybe
it out.
re-edit it or, you know, re-upload
Yes.
and then, you know, but they don't. YouTube's been this way since I remember.
Well, it's very minimal work on their part.
Yeah, it's all an algorithm.
I just wish it was more consistent, you know?
totally
Like
yeah.
that's the only thing is like you go, well, just, I mean, be consistent.
Right.
Yeah.
You're gonna go see your mom soon. You said.
Saturday.
Nice.
What's gonna happen?
I mean, I'm going to ask her to fart. On
We gonna get a
camera
new one? Yeah, I mean,
up front.
She can fart on cue?
Not always, but what she'll say is she'll be like, "Give me $10,000," and I'll be like, "No," but then I might pull out a couple grand and be like, "Do you want this?"
right. Have you heard? Bryce, can you cue it up?
There's something I should tell you about before you see it. This is 100% authentic.
Okay.
People think it's like manufactured
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something, and it literally is like proof of God.
Okay.
Like I basically was like, in the moment, "You think you could fart?" And she was like, hold on. And she turned and put her hands on his countertop. And I just had like, this is like why the iPhone's amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
I just reached in and hit that phone icon, you know, on the
home screen.
The home screen. And I just was like, like, and it was that like magic.
It happened.
Yeah.
You have great luck with technology when it comes to being there.
I had the worst fart of my life recently.
Whoa.
I was yelling at Cutter and I farted. Like it just like came out like
as an exclamation point at the end.
Kind of, and he was like in mid me yelling. He was like, "Did you just fart?" And I was like,
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah.
Watching this.
To see and hear years before she trusted me. So this is huge, you guys. Can we see it again, please? I love it so much.
The face is like.
Face.
You're not my son anymore.
It cost me a lot to be able to play
shock.
this. Yeah, she didn't know I was recording.
she didn't know.
That's why that face. Show it to
What
me.
did you have to give her to put this
handbag,
on?
right?
Okay, so
Because this moment
Look
is
at
so
her
amazing.
face. She's so
so
mortified.
when she turns and you see that like right, because she doesn't know she was being recorded, and so you know later on I'm like showing my dad and my sister, and they're like, oh my god, and she was like, you know, and I'm like making sure to duplicate it and
Right,
like,
yeah.
email it to myself in case she like erases it
Yes.
from my phone. So like, you know, a couple of days passed, whatever. I'm like, I really need to be able to play that fart, Mom. She's like, absolutely, no way, no way, no way. I'm like, Mom, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if I give you something? She was like, what would you give me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you want? She's like, I want a Tumi bag. So
Tumi
I
bag.
buy her a Tumi bag, and then the next day she's like, I want a Tumi backpack to go with my bag. I go, that wasn't fucking part of this.
Yeah.
So I get her that. And then she's like, I want the Tommy purse. And I'm like, you keep adding shit on. And she's like, Tommy, you're going to make your millions of dollars. And she gives her like this huge speech. Then she's like, I want to go first class to a casino. And you give me money to gamble.
I
I'm
really like her style.
Yeah.
I'm like, motherfucker. So I buy her 2 first class tickets, hotel, casino. She meets me at the, like I meet her there because I'm doing a gig. And she was like, where's my money? So I have to give her like a couple
Gambling
grand
money?
cash.
Wow.
So at this point, she's got like $2,000 in fucking bags.
Yep.
The trip, cash, and then she'll just like randomly be like, "I need an iPhone." I'm like, "What's that for?" And she's like, "For the video." I'm
And
like,
Jamie
gave you a
farted.
big fart.
Jamie farted for nothing.
For free.
Yeah.
I
Got
mean, no one
nothing.
has it on video.
they're
but-
actually the fans started fartmistress.com where they petition her to fart more and like send messages. Yeah.
Can they raise money?
Yeah.
for her?
And so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was, like sometimes I'll be like, "Mom,
She's so tiny too.
there's like
Such a
$12,000 waiting for you." She's like, "What?" I'm like, she's like, "You have the most disgusting perverted." And I'm like, yeah, we did that for you.
That was amazing.
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah, I
amazing
think a
moment.
sequel's in order.
I think so
Yes.
too.
Yeah, but you got
And
to
I'll
make
have
sure.
a few days with her, so I'm gonna,
Oh, yeah,
I'll
that's
bug
right.
her a lot.
There was something I was watching the other day, and they were talking about people, the process they go through when they're looking for like sperm donors, right? So sometimes it's like somebody's like, I want somebody in my family because I want it to have the same genes, or somebody else is like, I want it to be a complete stranger they never know, and other people are like, I want it to be somebody where I know them but we're not family. Like there's all these different things. So I want to know, asking all of you, like, what do you think if you were gonna have to do that? What do you think?
donate sperm.
No. If you needed a sperm donor to make a baby, because I hear like when I heard the guy say like, I would want the guy wanted his brother's sperm because he's like, I want it to be as close to my kid.
Oh, I get that, but I don't want that.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, man, imagine like barbecues and like you're like
It's
that's
biologically his kid.
your, that's your dad, and then he was like, no, it would be my son. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
what-
I'd get some sort of
Stranger, man.
I'd find whoever's a descendant of like Hitler's eugenics, like, and get some of that real nice white
genes.
white stuff. Yeah.
I would seek out like a fucking Nordic Viking looking dude.
Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah.
I'll take that dude's sperm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that guy from Game of Thrones with like the red beard, like that a really big dude.
Yeah. The mountain.
Oh yeah, that guy too. There was
yeah.
Oh, is that a different dude?
yeah.
Okay.
The guy who ran like the slovenly, like I don't know what
Yeah.
the,
But I
those
would
other
want it to
people.
be a stranger.
Yeah,
That's
someone
what
you
I
like
think.
have a guarantee you will never cross paths with ever in your life.
But then also there's that thing in your head of like that whole 9 months. You're like, man, what if this stranger was a fucking lunatic?
Yeah, you do think. But if you're selecting like, you know, that type of thing, you're doing like full background.
Yeah, they get like psychological tests. You get like their fucking report cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like when that kid turns 18, they're gonna have, you know, like kids that are adopted, they're gonna want to talk to their biological, you know, real sperm daddy at one point. So I'd probably ask them for like a video that they could make that I could play for their kid, for my kid, that is their kid.
What do you think people get at a sperm bank for donating a load?
I don't know.
Oh, load, yeah.
I'm sure people do it all the time. For
They
a
do.
little
I
bit of
Bet you
cash.
get a couple $100 for a load.
Yeah.
I got to be more than that.
Really?
300.
Yeah, I would.
Wow.
I would think so.
So easy being a guy.
Well, you probably have to. It's probably more because you have to meet this criteria, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't think I could meet
Right.
it if I really was honest with them and told them everything I've done in my past. They'd be like, we'll pass.
I just had full blood panel and it was great, so I think I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just mean like more so drugs. Like I think I'm
Oh.
healthy, but I think
Yeah.
of like if I really told them like, yeah, I could fill this whole garage with pills and drugs.
They're like,
and,
oh, that's really reassuring. Thank you. Let us know.
you know.
Yeah.
I don't think like yeah, I used to drink every single.
Would you donate eggs?
That's lucrative. That's like 15 grand.
That's a lot of money. Yeah, because that's like a big process.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
that's not
like
easy.
invasive and shots.
It's not
and-
just, hey, here's some lube and a video.
Yeah.
Just shoot them out when you're done.
No, that's like you got to put me out, I think. Or
I had to get my sperm tested once, and they walked me back to a room. This like older, sweet, like Filipina lady walked me back in this room, and she goes, here's the Apple TV, and here's some movies. And I was like, what kind of movies? And she was like, adult.
Yeah.
And then I go, do you stay in the room as a joke?
yeah.
And she was like, no. like I was like, no, I'm joking. And she was like, no.
Not
no.
having it.
But they give you weird instructions when they're like shoot it into this cup and make sure your penis doesn't touch the cup or the rim.
Oh.
And I'm like, hey, what? And they're like, yeah, like make sure it goes perfectly into the cup, but don't let your penis like touch any part of it. I'm like, well, what about like the velocity with which this comes out?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? I'm like, I mean, it's just gonna pop out.
Yeah.
Like, how am I? They're like, no, just do it the way we told you. You're like, okay.
Yeah. It's like a game of Operation where you
Yeah.
can't touch
Yes,
the metal.
exactly.
You should have went to the sperm bank with that 30-day load you had built up from the
my
opera.
God.
You could have got. They would have.
No, I th-
Hundreds of
They pay you
babies.
triple.
I think they're like, when they come out, they're like half dead. You know?
Bro.
Yeah, but still, the amount.
It's a very yellow
Just
load.
I'm gonna need another cup.
That
You
load
know,
right now. It was really epic.
It gets very yellow.
so
yeah.
good.
crazy.
It gets yellow when you're sick.
I made
Ooh, just when it's old.
the same noises I did when I got injured when I came that time. I was like,
Your arm did the same thing too.
and I was like, call 911. It was fucking powerful. Very powerful.
Oh, at least imagine you were like right after, like, call Christina.
Yeah.
What? So you have a guy. I wanted to ask about Robert Paul Champagne because to me, he might be the greatest. You know, and he's a guy on your show who you found a video of him basically on the internet asking like, hey, if anybody wants to come by my house, here's my address. I want you to beat me. I want you to fuck me. I don't care if you just got out of prison. I want you to rape. And my thought is like, you see this guy and you're like, man, it's so fucked up.
I like Jamie's face. She's like, what?
Then I go, it must be amazing to be this guy because you must sleep like a baby. Like all the stuff you worry about as an adult is like one day, well, man, I hope I'm never broke. I hope I never sleep on the street. I hope no one ever rapes me. I hope not.
Yeah.
All these things that you're like, man, I should go to the gym just in case anyone ever tries to fucking beat me or rape me or fucking, you know, like all this stuff. And you're like, I should get a job because I don't want to be homeless. This guy has none of these fears.
He has no fears. He's faced all his fears.
He's faced all his fears. He's so authentically who he is.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the most amazing thing about RPC is like, you know, sometimes you see somebody with a video, right? Like it could be on Instagram and you go, like maybe it's not their account, but I'm saying it's a video and you go, let's say it's just some cute, I don't know, blonde 25-year-old girl or something. You're like, we can find who this is. Like if enough people try to figure it, like they figure out who this girl is. She has a digital footprint.
Right.
When we saw this guy's video where he's like laying down, being like, black guys who love to fuck, come over and beat the fuck. Like when I saw that, I was like, this dude doesn't have a digital footprint. Like that was my first thought. Like this guy is like a ghost, but it's online. You know what I mean? Like no one
Jason
knows this
Bourne.
guy's name.
Yeah.
No, like this guy's dead for sure. Like it was the craziest video to put out. And it took like a year and a half of playing that video and like randomly going back to it until somebody was like, hey, I think I found that guy. And I was like, what do you mean? This is a real guy. And of course it's a real guy. But finding him was just, I don't know. It was like, I could have ended the podcast there. Been like, I think we're done doing a podcast.
Yeah.
I
grew up in very close to him in a building very similar to like how he lives. And I was telling Josh Potter, like the stories from this building I lived in were so insane. Like I remember one time they caught 2 people having sex in the hallway, but that wasn't the crazy part. The crazy part was like they brought their bed out into the hallway, like mattress, set everything
from inside
up.
their apartment.
From inside.
To fuck in the hallway?
Yeah, and then the craziest thing that ever happened in my building was 2 gay guys found out that they had AIDS and they tied themselves together and jumped off of the 40th floor. Yeah, and they landed on the awning, so like everybody, it was fucking like
They're okay?
It's treatable.
And the other fucking crazy thing was there was a guy who we had a laundry room on the 2nd floor. There was a guy who used to go in there, open up a washing machine full of wash, shit, and close it and let the thing keep going. So when you came back to your clean clothes, it was just all shit.
That's cool. He's a cool guy.
Oh, my building was...
What a prankster.
It was, it was just
Man,
your
did
whole...
you shit on all my clothes again?
I did. I'm the guy.
Yeah. In honor of
damn it.
RPC,
That's a sitcom right there.
Yeah, oh, my building was fucking...
Oh, my God.
Every time you got in the elevator, it was just, you're like, somebody
Wow.
crazy is gonna, you know...
Yeah, he does, like, we talked to him a few months ago, and, like, it's funny because, like, it's kind of crazy. You're having a conversation with him, and you're like, what's going on? He's like, working on development on this show right now. And you're like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, they want to do this talk show. And you're like, somebody wants to do a talk show with you?
Yeah.
He's having no problem getting actors for his skits.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to do this porno thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm like, wait, so you're doing porn and a talk show? It's just,
He's the greatest.
Yeah, you can't.
That's making a living online in like 2020. You got to do all those things. You got to make porno. You got to be on OnlyFans. You make skits.
OnlyFans money. I want to know what that's all about.
Oh,
that's
dude,
got to
some
be
serious
real
cash.
jack.
Yeah.
They try and sign me up all the time.
I support. I
My
support.
husband's
the site.
trying to sign me up.
Do it.
Yeah.
Come
She's
on.
like, when we're sitting around her
I got 2
apartment,
little kids,
So?
when we're
So
sitting
what?
around,
They're
You
too
don't
young
have
to
That's
have
the only
accounts.
thing holding me back. by
Wait,
the
you're
way.
not going to do like a hardcore scene. You're just going to be Jamie in real life, but like, with extras. What?
What's extras mean? Like clothes off?
Little people
No.
running around.
Oh. What do you mean? I could do it clothed and get money?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh.
We could actually help. We could help you with this.
Now, like, you don't have to like, be a dick about it and not ever put a, like a bra shot up or
Right.
something. But
No,
like,
every once in a while, you'll have to show something,
Got it.
or else.
Got it.
maybe like, hey, I gotta go pee, and then we go with you or something.
Oh. Well, you have. Okay. I'm used to that. My kids
There you go.
come into the bathroom every time I pee.
you give just some audio, maybe it doesn't have to be
Of me peeing?
Yeah,
Oh my God,
sure.
can you imagine?
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
fart
god!
that you let out.
Unlock my pee video for another $3.
Yeah.
There's one chick that always leaves a comment on these videos. It's like, leave Jamie alone. It's so clear she's uncomfortable.
Oh, sorry, Jamie.
And
On our YouTube,
No,
our
we're-
YouTube
our
videos?
YouTube, yeah.
It's only one.
It's like a free Britney, like free Jamie.
I just want to let her know this is something that you brought up, and you're fully game.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
actually-
Well, I didn't realize how easy it would be. You
free
can make money
Jamie.
doing nothing now.
I think you could. I'm being serious. I think you could make a fortune doing that.
Yeah.
I'm serious,
Well-
and I'm not talking about doing something like X-rated.
Right.
I think so. After Bella Thorne joined and changed that whole platform,
Right.
and everybody who was on it hates her guts.
Right.
But then a bunch of celebrities joined, and they're doing like DJ Khaled joined, and so he has an OnlyFans with him and Fat Joe. I just learned this yesterday, and they just like are like, we're gonna barbecue. Like they're not doing anything sexual,
Cutter should do it with when he does his Traeger meats.
Well, that you could even just do like I bet there's guys who just want to hear you like reprimand your children, like Bo, that was wrong, that was very bad. You've been a bad boy,
Oh,
and then
God.
yeah,
Wow.
Jamie,
Come
if you're getting
on.
$100,000 a month,
All right, let me think about it.
Thank you. Just be open.
no,
to
we
it.
need a decision right now. You have no
I
time.
mean, are you open to doing dick ratings? Where they send you and you give them an honest.
Well, I was telling them before that somehow my number has gotten out there because in the past 2 weeks I've gotten like about 10 calls of being like, can I speak to Miss Sigler? And I'm like, this is her. And they'll be like, oh my God, it's really you. And I'm like, oh God. And I've also gotten some random dick pics as
What?
well.
Oh, you
Nice.
left that part out.
Yeah.
You guys probably cut me off.
She's waiting
you
for
respond?
Tom.
No, maybe I should.
Next, you know what you should do? Chastise them.
What do you mean?
You call that a dick?
Yeah, no, they love that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
We
that's what they're
love
looking
that.
for, aren't they?
Well, some of them aren't. You
Right.
could be like, oh, cool clip pics or something like that, like put them in their place.
You could pay your mortgage just by rating a few dicks a week.
There you go.
Don't tell Cutter this. You know he's all about me.
Cutter is a 100.
He's so behind this.
He's game?
Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, hold on, Bryce. The last picture she got, the
Can we
penis
get him on
was-
the phone?
It was next to a
Cutter?
a Perrier
Probably not.
bottle.
I
Was
can't
that
even get him
you?
to answer my text messages.
Really?
No. He's so busy during the day.
I want to sell him on this.
He's sold. There's no selling him.
He's
sold.
down.
He talks about. They come over every Sunday, and he talks about it with them all the
Oh,
time.
I just want I want to know what it ends up being because I think you're going to be like,
I'm
oh,
open to suggestions.
Yeah, and you could go on the show and promote it.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck
for
yes.
sure.
I think virtually Cutter would be fine with anything you did, but as soon as like one other guy touched you like in the real life, it would be insane. Cutter would just lose his mind.
No.
Yeah,
He was
but
not,
I think
he
on
would not
the
be about that.
on the internet, I think he'd be game for whatever.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, if I'm alone, yes.
Dude, what's more heterosexual and straighter and more masculine than taking another guy's money for looking at your girl and paying your rent and utilities with it? You know what I mean?
It is pretty macho.
It's fucking hard. That's
Yeah.
a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Think about it.
to be continued.
Jamie's just processing all of this.
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying no.
She was close. I think you tipped her over.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Well,
open to it.
That
We're
could
gonna
be your first post.
We're gonna turn off the
Tipped over.
cameras now and really work on her. We're gonna get her to do this. So,
Okay.
Tom, thank you so
Oh
much.
my gosh, yes.
What a treat this
So
was.
much for doing this.
God, yeah, of course. It was so fun.
I'm glad
Well,
to
see
see
you
you're
later.
doing well.
I'm having a great time.
We love your love your mom's house. You got your fans have been amazing. You
Yeah,
guys
they've
have been
been so great.
amazing. Just so supportive of us, and it was
Yeah, thanks for including us in your world.
Oh, I'm so happy. I mean, I hope you guys come back. I hope
We
you
would
guys
love
come back
to.
on.
we're moving to
course.
Austin. We're gonna be
You're
around all the
yeah,
time.
Well, you have to come on all the time then.
And
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm so excited that you guys have this thing that keeps growing, and I'm excited about your OnlyFans. It's gonna be a great
Yeah.
year.
It's going to be so good.
Sky's the limit, guys.
I've said it before, but like, we would win like the Emmy Award and be on stage for winning in this, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. But then it's like, when I got included in like the first like YMH meme or whatever, where it was like 9 days of Christmas, and like it was like you, Christina, then me. I was like, oh my god. I was
dude.
like, this is better than.
Did
Well-
Christina show you the Sopranos family picture where Rob and I are Tony and Carmela and
Yes,
you guys are
I saw that. That was really funny.
so good?
They're so and then they started making more. Like they keep throwing my face on Tony.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. But this one you were AJ
Yes.
and Rob was Tony and
Yeah.
I was Carmela.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
Christina looked good as Meadow.
Yeah. She's got it going on.
She had it going on.
Yeah. There you go. And are you selling panties yet or no?
No,
You gotta
not
get on
yet.
that, man. You gotta get on that.
I'm gonna.
You're one of like the top 3 most dialed in guests we've ever had. Like
Thank
the
you.
way that you broke down clips with us, it's like you, Danny Brown, I think Brendan Urie, a couple other people who I was like, oh, they're better at this than we are.
Johnny
Yeah.
Pemberton. What's it? How do you
Johnny
say it?
Pemberton.
He's
Yeah.
great.
He's
Shout
so
out
good
to
at
him,
it too.
man. He's,
Johnny's so funny.
when he did the we up out of here, when he did that
Oh, yeah.
guy, and
Oh,
he's like,
yeah.
I'm just drinking pool water. He talked about like sipping on pool water, and oh my god,
His
you guys
improv
are-
skills are crazy good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he designed the Air Segura shirt.
Oh really?
Yeah, so when I got injured, I'm in the hospital. He's like, I got an idea for merch. Johnny Tech, I'm like, what? He's like, check this out. And it's the Air Jordan logo, but with the arm and leg broken.
That's
Amazing.
so good.
And so we did Air Segura. And
I
it
want that.
fucking-
I'd rock that.
Oh, I'll send you some.
Yeah,
I'll send everybody,
please.
I saw
Yeah.
KFC from Barstool rocking
He
it.
was
like,
right,
oh,
dude. Yeah, I had
That's
a
great.
bunch of people. Yeah, it was a good idea. I was like, yeah. and then-
Great idea.
Yeah, it went really well. Really
Thanks a
well.
lot, man.
Well,
We really
thanks.
appreciate
Yeah.
it.
If you're watching on YouTube, obviously you already know, but Your Mom's House podcast, and you and Christina have Instagram, and
Yep.
YMH Live coming soon.
Yeah. We'll have another one that we
Yeah.
announce probably next month. Yeah. Thank you guys for having
Very
me. though.
cool.
I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Tom.
Thank you, man.